I'm extremely concerned about the potential impact of the 18% cut the administration has proposed at the NIH. Could you please describe how your proposed budget would enable the United States to maintain the biomedical research enterprise and continue progress in developing new treatments and cures within this funding level?
But I was struck by one thing at NIH, and that is that about 30% of the grant money that goes out is used for indirect expenses, which, as you know, means that that money goes for something other than the research that's being done. And I think what the budget is trying to do is to, being the first step in this process, is trying to bring focus to the kinds of things that we ought to be able to do to get a bigger bang for our buck, if you will. So our goal is to fashion a budget that focuses on the things that work, that tries to decrease the areas where there are either duplications or redundancies or waste, and whether or not we can indeed get a larger return for the investment of the American taxpayer in this area, which is so vitally important.
Will premiums go up, and will insurers drop out of the market?
Yeah, this side of the question is incredibly important because premiums have risen, and it's the commitment of this administration to make certain that we are able to bring down costs for the American consumer so that they're able to afford the kind of coverage.
The question is about the cost-sharing opportunities, and that will that drive up the costs?
That's what I'm not able to comment on.
Will you work to avoid premium hikes, as has been projected by CBO, by enforcing the current law?
Well,
yes or no?
Remember, I would suggest to you that the current law is increasing premiums, and what we're trying to do, what the commitment of the administration is to make certain that every single American has access to affordable coverage.
I would assume by your conversation that there will continue to be an attempt, unlike what Mr. Ryan has said, or Speaker Ryan said, about looking at repealing the Affordable Care Act rather than looking at strengthening and improving it.
Well, as I say, the Department, the administration is committed to making certain that the American people have access to affordable coverage.
But does that include repeal? I understand, Mr. Chairman.
We believe that the current law has harmed many individuals.
Okay, so you will continue to move at repeal, is what I gained from that conversation. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Does the Trump administration believe women should pay more for health insurance than men?
What we believe is that individuals ought to be able to have access to the kind of coverage that they select for themselves and for their families, not that the government...
Would you say yes or no when you're comparing men and women?
I don't believe that's a yes or no question. Again, what we believe is that you as a woman and my wife as a woman ought to be able to select the kind of coverage that they want, not that the government forces them to
Okay, I'll
buy.
get to the next question.